Hey guys, Ravens here, and as regrettably, I wanted to make this video from scratch because as much as I love the support from that video, I feel like the audio was probably the worst aspect of it. And from you guys' support, I just couldn't let that stand, so I decided to make this video from scratch. So hopefully this audio sounds a lot better compared to it. And by any means necessary, at least one good aspect of remaking this video again from scratch is that since a lot more videos came out, and I get a second chance to say a lot of things that I didn't get to say in the original version. So, by all means, I hope you guys enjoy this video again. And that's it. Enjoy the video. SML 2020 was certainly something, I'll tell you that. A lot of things happened during this year. To the SML drama that's gotten so bad to the point I'm not even gonna try to decipher it anymore. To Pablo taking a 6-month absence that really affected Logan's quality. Just so many factors that I will be mentioning in this video. In my personal opinion, 2020 was probably the worst year since around 2017. And I will be here to mention my personal opinions on what made 2020 such an utter mess. So, without further delays or ado, let's start the video. One thing that made this year rather forgettable is the lack of advanced potential in most of these videos. Either ideas were not pushed far enough, or the ideas severely failed to stay on track from the premise of the video. And I have a few examples. Jeffy's Future. A video in which Jeffy gets an ominous prediction was nothing more than jokes after jokes after jokes being repeated for the entire video. We have the first 3 minutes at the beginning with Jeffy and Mario just repeating each other. Then we spend a minute and a half of Mario explaining a pun to us, followed by a minute of Curse making random noises, followed by Jeffy screaming for 3 minutes on end, and the episode's plot is solved within a few seconds. The video failed to stay on track with the premise of the video because the overused jokes ruined any potential. May I remind you that the plot didn't happen until 7 out of 11 minutes. Next we have Joseph's imaginary family, with the premise of Joseph going through the heartbreak of not having a family, and you'll never get the solution. The solution is to make Joseph go through losing another family, which kinda makes the video entirely freaking pointless, and in fact, a reactor by the name of Charmix actually came up with a better situation and solution for the video that I have to share.
I'm surprised they're going this route. I would have thought that they would make, they'd be just so horrible to Joseph that Joseph would be like, oh, I wish I didn't have them or something like that. And then they would like burn in a fire and then Joseph wouldn't really care. I think they went about the solution to this a lot, I don't know, weird. It wasn't what I was thinking. And I don't know. Like in the end, Joseph just had more heartbreak than, when he didn't have anyone to eat with. I still think it would have been better for him to hate the family. And then, to him be happy when they got destroyed. And then he'd be happy with him being alone because then he'd be like, oh, at least I don't have a family to deal with, Does that make sense?
The reason I bring up these examples is because there are a lot of videos this year in which it goes to show that at times these scripts need a second draft. You don't turn in your first draft and expect a passing grade. We edit our scripts and writing to iron out any oversights and flaws in them, which Logan doesn't seem to care. And his videos are made 3 days apart. He's not even giving himself nearly enough time to come up with the best ideas. I think we can survive a week without a video, Logan, if it means to put effort into it. And most of these videos are just centered around telling as much repetitive sequences as humanly possible. It's the best feeling in the world when someone makes an original joke that makes the audience burst into tears from laughter. That's an achievement in good timing and writing. However, when a joke that was once funny begins to be recycled for episodes on end, it starts to make the audience annoyed and sick of it. I know a few comedians that make the mistake of repeating the exact same joke, literally line per line. John Mulaney has his joke of the salt and pepper incident in his obsession with What's New Pussycat. Jeff Dunham basically recycles every single joke with every new special, especially with his character Walter, that goes on and on and on about how he doesn't like his wife, and I could go on. And it's no different when SML repeats jokes. Most of the time, jokes last for minutes on end, and multiple jokes are crammed into one episode for seasons. May I remind you that these videos are made 3 days apart from each other? So, we didn't laugh the first time, and if we did laugh the first time, you're starting to ruin the joke by repeating it. So, let's run down the list. 2017 was the house payment and the "nah, it's just me" jokes. 2018 was the demonetization jokes with Logan moaning about how he stupidly didn't take responsibility for his own fault. 2019 was a bunch of swearing and Goodman saying "ill poor." But now for this year. There's the Kamil Habib Habab joke that involves a camel saying his long ridiculous name. I laughed at it the first time because it was so unexpected, but this joke easily became stale. Don't get me started on Scooter's parents. There's the officer's top and bottom joke that involves two police officers having every line be an innuendo. This joke I actively hated. No, not because I'm prejudiced against gay people, but 1, the jokes are not subtle, 2, it really gets annoying within seconds, and 3, Logan fears getting demonetized for a 4th time, and yet he continues to push jokes that YouTube will not allow. And the joke that I despised was Joseph being an unbearable jerk whenever anything good happens to him. But it has become apparent that as soon as the viewers tell Logan they love an original joke he did, he tries to replicate the first reaction. But all he gets is an annoyed crowd who got bored of the joke. And the biggest component for overused jokes is Lance. But I made a video about that, so there you go. What is continuity, you ask? Well, continuity is the principle of events happening in one episode, and depending on if the show follows it or not, it may cause future events to happen in episodes, or nothing will be affected about said events. Like Mama Luigi's death in SML, that was canon. He's been dead for 8 years now, and no, the Toad's Mistake video does not count. Things like Jeffy's mom being mentioned that she's in jail is referencing Jeffy's parents, which I made a video about on how that video was terrible. Go watch that if you want. SML's continuity is very, very confusing, as the show has continuity but refuses to stick to it. Like Joseph mentioning for years that he's poor when a certain video happened, and some things are switched from time to time, like Junior sometimes saying he's adopted to sometimes saying he's Bowser's actual son. And finally, things like Goodman saying he paid off Mario's house in the Shredder, and the next Goodman video just apparently forgot about that fact. Logan has careless continuity that frequently contradicts itself, mostly because without it, most of the plot ideas would not exist. So, it's just laziness on Logan's end, that's all there is to it. And it confuses me why Logan doesn't have continuity, because it's not like a show like SpongeBob where Steven Hillenburg had restrictions against his show, in which the show cannot change many things because of Steven Hillenburg's rules, but SML is an internet show where he has creative freedom to write whenever he wants. He has a controlled environment, and yet it seems like he doesn't have the creativity to push the boundaries far enough. This doesn't apply to this year alone, but this year has broken so many characters and their former personalities to their absolute limits. And these used to be likable characters are now some of the worst despised characters in modern SML. Junior was always portrayed as a spoiled brat who goes berserk whenever things didn't go his way. Then for a few years he was more or less tolerable, but this year changed him to an extremely petty jerk and an unlikable troublemaker who causes havoc without motivation. So he's mostly sliding right back down to his 2015 self. Rosalina was always kinda there, but before Jeffy existed, she always supported Mario. And for literal years, and even now, she would always defend Jeffy's shenanigans with one argument, saying, "Oh, he's just a kid," despite the fact he's 16 now. And she has become unbelievably hypocritical when it comes to relationships, snapping at Mario for a complete freak accident and not letting him speak a word, but turns around and flirts with her exes right in front of him, and gets mad at Mario for righteously being upset. Jeffy hasn't changed that drastically from his debut. I mean, sure, he stopped talking with slurs, but he's practically worse than ever before with torturing Mario and always winning in the end. And the cliche, Jeffy learned his lesson guys, ending are laughable with how often they do it. It's like every episode they do this try to convince me that Jeffy will learn his lesson, but he never does. But no other character went through the worst change than Joseph. His character change is undescribable. So Joseph was a character who was laid back and had a tragic and unique backstory. Apparently he lost his mother in a sad sleepwalking murder related incident, and so many videos made casual references to reinforce that. However, the real truth of the matter was his mother won the lottery and decided to live her life without a kid. And it's a unique trait compared to Junior and Cody, who had parents since forever. Plus, he gained our sympathy similar to Jeffy used to in Jeffy's parents. Again, go watch it. But somewhere down the line, Logan decided to make his character become an unsurfable a-hole the moment something good happened to him. Getting a girlfriend, getting a new shell, getting anything that puts him at an advantage of any situation. And led to the ultimate middle finger of character growth. Joseph the Millionaire. This video made every single video Joseph Center related pointless. This video said Joseph had his mom's connections the whole time when she point blank said she doesn't want anything to do with him anymore. Joseph never had a home ever since it burned down and Joseph moves in, but in this video, it turns out he always had a home. And worst of all, he would never invite his friends over to his house where they always invite Joseph over, and they were always there for him. I think Logan is under the impression that just because Joseph has a tragic backstory and the fact he's poor that he can treat everyone like a doormat because he has nothing. But ironically, him acting like that makes me hate him even more. Joseph's drastic character change proves to me that Logan does not plan his videos ahead of time in terms of story or character, and does willy-nilly with no second thought. Whenever it makes sense for the characters to be in said predicament doesn't matter in the long run. It's just to fit the stories, whether they make sense or not. There is so much that a creator can pump up in a lifetime before they begin to reuse ideas. Now, hold on. Let me start by saying that on its own, it's not a crime to reuse past ideas, as long as they're done better than the first attempt. So on its own, recycling plots is not a bad idea. But Logan recycles plots to the point that they all run together in my brain. In fact, let's have a list. Black Yoshi's superpower is a ripoff of almost every other Black Yoshi video that exists that involves him wanting money or stealing things. The rat problem is a rehash of the grilled cheese and the cheeseburger with a rat causing havoc in the kitchen and Sheppy be trying to get rid of it. Jiffy Goes Bowling is a rehash of Bowser Jr. Goes Bowling, except admittedly Jiffy Goes Bowling is a lot better compared to that video. Jiffy Gets Stuck is a rehash of Stuck in which the character gets stuck in one location. Jiffy Goes to Disney World is a parody of Bowser Jr. Goes to Disney World 1 and 2, The Big Summer Vacation, and a future video of Jeffy and Junior Goes to Disney World. Mario Sells Jeffy might as well be in relations to Jeffy's backpack, in which both videos showcase showing the merch. At least Jeffy's backpack was kinda subtle compared to Mario Sells Jeffy, in which practically almost every single minute involves shoving merch into our face. Talk about desperate. Jeffy Wins the Lottery is a rehash of Chef Pee-Pee's lottery ticket, Bowser Jr.'s lottery ticket, and the Shredder, which involved the three characters trying to win the lottery and failed. However, Jeffy wins because he always wins. Jeffy's Big Mess is a rehash of Bowser Jr.'s Big Mess, although that video was a lot more less focused to the premise because it practically had nothing to do with Jeffy making a big mess. Scooter the Rapper is a rehash of Jeffy the Rapper, except that video was so lazily done with not showing any development of Scooter being a rapper. And I could go on, but I think you get the idea of how many times Logan repeated himself with concepts. And most of these concepts this year have not been better compared to their counterparts. What else to say about this section? Now, is it a problem with a creator trying to showcase merch to their fan base? Absolutely not. I don't have any problem against people showing off merch. You can buy yourself a Jaden Animation plushie. You can get yourself a Markiplier plushie. You could get an M. You can get anything that suits with the personality of the creator. Now, Logan for a while has been showcasing merch, and the merch has always had a more or less unanimous, disgusted reaction by the fans. First, we have the human puppets that make Lucifer himself cry. Then we have such merch like the Jeffrey School set, which Logan is trying to pass off as, adults can buy this merch as well. Yeah, I'm 20 years old, I'm in college, and I don't want this crap. And last and not least, the merch plugs. Do you want to know how many times SML loves to plug merch into their videos? You don't want to know how many times they plug merch into their videos. But since I'm suffering, you get to suffer as well.
Alright, Jeffy, are you ready to play the SML matching game?
Let's do it, Junior!
Hello?
Hey there, Mario!
Hey, Goodman, what are you doing here?
Oh, nothing. Just going for a walk, drinking my hot water, and being grateful that I don't live in such a poor neighborhood.
Long, Mario, I thought you sold him!
Me? Sell Jeffy for $10 million? I would never do that.
Just hide my new backpack I got from smlmerch.com. Link in the description. Comes in 2 separate designs and also has a lunchbox. Maybe that'll...
Jeffy, I'm gonna take your pillow.
My pillow?
Yeah, I'm gonna take your SML blanket.
Not my SML blanket that I got from smlmerch.com. Link in the description.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it.
Hey, Daddy. I'm ready for you to take me to school.
Oh, Jeffy, I feel so sick. I don't think I can drive you to school today. Can you walk?
I mean, I don't mind like a 5-second plug in the beginning of the video or at the end of the video, but when you make video after video basically explaining, don't forget the SML merch guys, please buy the SML merch guys, I wanted to let you know we have merch, please buy the SML merch guys, that just comes off as being extremely desperate at this point. And it shows that you really want more money despite the fact that Logan is already rich. This is coming from the guy who breaks plates on a weekly basis. But hey, don't worry, when you're depressed, you can drink your sorrows away with a brand new Jeffy mug. Now you can drink hot coffee and wonder where did your favorite YouTuber who used to inspire you all go wrong. So horribly freaking wrong. The merch actually disgusts me also because it just shows how greedy Logan is. Because Logan already has enough money to satisfy his own lifestyle, but to Logan, you can never have enough money. If he's gonna sell merch, make it a lot more appealing to the eyes.